Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
This is DK. We'll talk about it. And I am going to do the 6th in a series of videos that take you on a journey through XRP, which also touches on the monetary system and gold-backed currencies and QFS and how it's all tied together in a war, primarily a war between the G7 nations and the BRIC nations. But don't forget, in every war, the dichotomy is for the illusion of the regular people. They're always working together. And I don't know if people even know that. A lot of people backing Hitler lived in the United States of America. So war is for the show. But if you've been watching my videos and followed me through this progression of behind the curtain in this land of Oz that we're in, you must see that the information that I have been providing since the beginning has been relatively spot on and absolutely beneficial to anyone who has taken the time to look and to listen. And so I know, because I've already done the 7th of the series, and I'll talk about that in the conclusion of this one, but this is the 6th of the series, and I think I'm going to stop it here because I'm getting too close to current now. But if you look at these videos, this history, I will create a playlist specifically for these videos. You will see that it has been a progressive gem of information on what's going on. And so without further ado, I can wrap this up in the conclusion. And I want to remind you that once I do my introduction, I don't say another word until the conclusion. And it just shows how timely the information you're about to review is. So let's get started. And here you'll see evidence of one gigantic change, and that's going to be the subject of the next article that I read. Those BRICS nations, the 5 that I showed originally, that were encroaching upon the U.S.'s hegemony of the dollar and even its GDP, has been adding nation after nation after nation. Now, keep in mind that also adds GDP after GDP after GDP, and that also adds gold reserves after gold reserves after gold reserves. And as a consequence, keeping in mind what I've said so many times, you can't trade maple leaves for gold leaves. And as long as the U.S. is holding on to maple leaves and other nations are going to gold-backed money and gold leaves, as well as reducing and banning the use of the dollar, that economics lesson that we had begins to have its impact. Because as you are fully aware, if you have a huge supply of something, which is most certainly true of the United States dollar, it's all over the globe, and it's declining as we speak, but it's all over the globe in reserves because it's the world reserve currency. But when it stops being the reserve currency, what we have is a glut of useless money floating around that has to be reduced in cost, or it just reduces in cost as that demand curve declines. The supply is too much, therefore the price declines. And the dollar becomes more and more worthless. And the US dollar is going to decline in value as, let me clarify, as long as it remains a fiat currency that does not join what we began with earlier in this video, the nations that are going gold back. So the conspiracy theory is absolutely no longer conspiracy theory. The key being the war going on between the USA and China. If you want to watch the rest of that video, of course I'll put the cards in the video, and I really encourage you to do so. But now let's develop that line of thought. Many have seen this, but it's most certainly worth a look and a see. So we're going to look and we're going to see it.
Enforcement-only approach landed us. It landed us in this place where we have huge gaps around the world from a U.S. financial center perspective. Without a doubt, China is taking advantage of that. You know, it's no accident that there are more Alipay users today
is taking advantage
than all of the major other global fintechs combined. And we have to make a decision, right? The U.S. government really has to make a decision as to whether it wants to be at the center of what I believe we have potentially in crypto, which is transformational technology that can bring many, many more people into that financial ecosystem.
The U.S. government has to make a decision.
And that, from my perspective, is the real national security issue. Because if we shove these innovators who are like extraordinarily big brains, right? If we just push them out of the United States, I fear that 3 to 5 years from now, we're going to wake up in a fundamentally different place from a global financial infrastructure perspective, and the U.S. is going to get, in many ways, in many parts of the world, we're really going to get left behind.
The U.S. has been kind of its own worst enemy by using sanctions of the U.S. dollar, having, infiltrated so many countries. I think 60-some% of the countries had the U.S. dollar as a primary reserve currency in their central banks. And the U.S. kind of destroyed itself by using these sanctions. And as it says here in this article back from April of 21, sanctions are destroying U.S. dollar's status as the world's top currency. What it has done is that it has motivated other countries to look for a different outlet, just like the reasoning behind President Ruto that we began this video with when he was asking the question, why? Why is a U.S. dollar a part of trade between him and another country? In 2022 of March of 2022, it mentions that Washington's trigger-happy sanctions may push countries away from the dollar, says a think tank. It's not a may anymore, folks. It's a fact, as we have seen, and you'll recall from earlier portions of this video. But it says central banks are starting to question whether reliance on the U.S. dollar is a good idea. The United States has extended itself, has been extremely trigger-happy when it comes to the use of sanctions and other economic punishments. But what we want to get out of here is that the United States' approach to sanctions and debt is unsustainable. It has absolutely been unsustainable, folks. Now, this is coming more closer to our time. Now we're in April of 2023. Countries worldwide are dropping the U.S. dollar. De-dollarization in China, Russia, Brazil, and the ASEAN countries. Now, China, Russia, Brazil, I mean, that's 3 out of 5 of the Brics nations right there. And then India is mentioned in the article. It says the global de-dollarization campaign is gaining momentum as countries around the world seek alternatives to the hegemony of the U.S. dollar. China, Russia, Brazil, India, ASEAN countries, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are now using local currencies in trade. Did you just see that major decline in just those nations alone in the use of the U.S. dollar for trade? Now, of course, the U.S. has this atom bomb. It's called the XRP, on-demand liquidity, Ripple, all that. But nonetheless, the fiat U.S. dollar is dying. So yes, you can be sure that the U.S. isn't going to take it lying down. And actually, the United States has been in process all along. And you might want to refer to a couple of my other videos. And really, I think it'll be not only beneficial, but enjoyable to watch them and open the mind and change the paradigm to see what I think, at least from my perspective, is really going on. But XRP, I said the one with the mushroom cloud, that's another thumbnail you might look for. It's called World War III. XRP is the bomb. It's from July of 2021. And then the other one from June 2022, XRP, the Trojan horse of the Ukraine-Russia show. Notice I said show and not war, because it's just a show, and the pawns are being killed for the show. But you might find out how XRP is the Trojan horse of the United States in battling this decline in the hegemony of the U.S. dollar, because as XRP and the on-demand liquidity and XRPL expands, and if we manage to successfully keep it as an American company, then all those Brics countries that are utilizing the process, and don't think that they're not, I mean, there's plenty of videos out there, which is why I cover alternative material. But there's plenty of countries that are willingly accepting the XRP usage and the XRPL in their transition to a gold-backed currency. And you'll see this very familiar picture there on the screen if you're looking at the screen. And it's a meeting that was held years ago, and the people up front there are some very high-ranking bank officials from different international central banks. I believe the guy's head over here, the last one bottom to the left, is the backside head of what is his name? Augustus, the guy from the Bank of International Settlements. Karsten Augustus, or something of that nature. But there's no question we recognize the lady sitting up front there. That's Christine Lagarde, however you want to say it, who was with the International Monetary Fund and then moved over to the European Central Bank. And then there's a bit of an outlier up there in the right corner there. That gentleman there, to the far right above that 6, is Brad Garlinghouse. So amongst all these very high-ranking financial industry players, we have one cryptocurrency company represented at the table facing the audience, and that's Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. That says a lot. That says a lot. So it's not speculation when we think that he's had dealings with any of these particular individuals here. Conversations, plans, strategies, and especially the lady here. We can be rather confident that Brad Garlinghouse, representing Ripple, has had discussions with Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank. Is that fair? I think that's a fair assessment. I think we can be absolutely certain that Brad Garlinghouse and Christine Lagarde had conversations. And I'm going to show as we go on in this video that that's definitely the case. And about the regulatory concerns that she has, we know that there's a case going on with the SEC where the U.S. is trying to, I guess, establish the regulatory clarity that's needed. However, as Brad Garlinghouse said recently, the rest of the world really doesn't care. And the rest of the world's moving ahead. Now, taking some information from a prior video that I did, in that prior video, sorry for the skip there, I'm still learning. The prior video was World War III XRP is the bomb, but I made a point there. It said many that think the SEC lawsuit does not make sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars and cents. That's when the light of truth must be something else, somewhere else, to look for and hopefully find. And as I've made it, I think, eminently clear, I do believe much of this is an orchestrated dance to keep everyone distracted and busy and not revealing the true strategy. And it's a war strategy. And the wars have always been about money. The wars have always been about money. Don't trick yourself to believe anything else. And in the governmental structure, money is power. And therefore, the wars have also been about power over a monetary system. However, while the U.S. is going through this regulatory framework battle with the SEC, or its perceived battle, things are moving forward, folks. But I'm going to focus it on what you see in front of you there, which I think is a pretty awesome picture of the quantum information science, which was a part of the quantum initiative signed by the White House back in 2018. And you'll notice on the bottom there that it says HTTPS Gasara News, which makes it kind of sound like a conspiracy or of a conspiracy theory origination. And I'm going to show in this video how it's no conspiracy, folks, and maybe it'll help also to round out the way we look at things. I have mentioned in prior videos about the Quantum Initiative. The National Quantum Initiative Act is the official name, as you can see here from Wikipedia, and it was an act of Congress passed December 13th of 2018, signed into law by President Trump, on December 21st of 2018. And it's described, it says, the law gives the United States a plan for advancing quantum technology, particularly quantum computing. It was passed unanimously by the United States Senate and was signed into law by President Donald Trump. The National Quantum Initiative, NQI, provides an umbrella under which a number of government agencies develop and operate programs related to improving the climate for quantum science and technology in the U.S., coordinated by the National Quantum Coordination Office. One of the most confirming things that could occur to show that this is not necessarily a conspiracy theory, that this being the quantum financial system is the quantum initiative established by the United States government. And of course, we cannot cover everything about that, nor will we try, but I will show by connections and by those who are involved in the quantum initiative and in the quantum computer and financial systems, that to put it all together and call it a quantum financial system is not by any means a large stretch. But you can see here it talks about a robust commercial quantum-based industry and associated supply chain in the United States of America. And you know, whenever you talk economic, you are talking goods and services, folks. That's what economics are. If you remember my brief economic lesson on the other video about supply and demand. And what was on supply and demand? Price and quantity on that demand curve, right? So we are talking about money here, folks. How can you be sure we're talking about money? But before I leave this page, I want to also highlight that this is an international process. The United States is not going to be sitting here with a quantum financial system in its borders. This is a connection of the entire globe, and you can see here they're giving examples of some of the nations involved. But I assure you, with the what is his name, Elon Musk, launching all those SpaceX satellites out there and creating that net out there, this is a global initiative, folks. And next, I'll show you it's absolutely associated with money and global. You see here at the International Monetary Fund, what I did was simply go to their website and put in quantum financial system. Do they have anything to do with quantum computing and the quantum information sciences, the QIS that we just learned about, implemented here under the Act for the United States? Absolutely they do. And when you put it in, you can see here, right here, it says governance and transparency and algorithmic governance in the financial sector. Quantum computing, and other technological developments are expected to further facilitate use of big IT systems. In what sector, folks? The financial sector. The World Bank is in the same boat as the International Monetary Fund. Get that out of the way, because here they have what they call FinTech and the Future of Finance. And there's a 2-page policy summary here on what this is all about. You can pull this up. And now we're going to start leaning towards how the quantum financial system, how those of us who accept it as no longer or never was conspiracy theory, well, it was conspiracy theory, but it was true. And it's all conspiracy theory until it's true. But you can see who's involved here, right here. It says the World Bank and the IMF. We just looked at the IMF, right? Working together on FinTech and the future of finance, right? So is there a financial system under the quantum? Absolutely yes. And so what I'm really going at now as I begin to wrap this up, folks, is to show how if you can accept that there is a quantum financial system and you can let go of the legacy system and convince yourself that this is about money. Because see, it says here, yet too many people and firms still lack access to essential financial services that could help them thrive. It is absolutely about economics and money, this quantum financial system. You'll also be able to do what this entire channel here is designed to do. Turn on the lights, open the mind, and encourage self-thought to take oneself on a course of action that benefits yourself, but it will require a change of paradigm. And I cannot change anybody's paradigm but my own. And big picture stuff. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to breeze right through these because this video is way longer than I wanted to be. I actually just wanted a short video, but hey, it is what it is. You see here, Brics. Here we go again. What countries are all about to join? A bunch of them. Iran seeking to increase Brics partnership ahead of summit. Brics' ambition to dethrone U.S. dollar remains to be long-term goal. A declining dollar is a rising Iraqi dinar and a rising everything else that the dollar buys. Brics prioritize national currencies over US dollar alternatives. Is the dollar dying? Are the BRICS coming out? I warned about the BRICS. I even said that the bearable guy stuff with the BRICS, I think that the BRICS, before anyone else was talking about the blue brick and all that, I thought it was this BRICS. It's turning out to be, it's this BRICS. And these bricks are going to tumble down the dollar. That's what's happening, but it's all part of the plan just to level the playing field. I'm going to tell you something else that I don't have time to cover. When he looks to the blue sky, I did a little comment in a Twitter or whatever. Blue sky laws are state laws. Somehow, some way, the states, and I'll get into that deeper and do another video about it. Somehow, the states, and it's happening, the states are going to be the ones that open up more and more corridors to be able to take advantage of the biggest transfer of wealth that's occurring. It's going to be happening on state levels just as much as this SEC debacle is distracting everybody on the federal level. But states are making moves. Now, I know it. I've watched them. I've seen them. This video isn't about that, but I'll do one. But you see here, BRICS, India and Brazil are concerned about the expansion. BRICS, India refiners ditch the U.S. dollar. BRICS says there's no immediate plans to launch a currency. That's a lie. BRICS, BRICS, y'all. Well, that will complete the meat of the series of videos. XRP. Behind the curtain in this land of Oz. And it is a land of Oz, and quite honestly, there is a yellow brick, a yellow brick road, a gold brick road. But it's far more complicated than that. If you've enjoyed the series, you've seen that a lot is involved in this war between the East and the West. Keeping in mind, too, that the war between the East and the West is an orchestrated dance. Everything is brought out in the series of videos, and how they must have come to a truce to not kill off too many people, but they're still killing people off. All for control and the establishment, I believe, of a new world order and a new monetary system that is global, because it's a global currency reset. And key to that global currency reset will be that star net put out there around the globe and satellites by SpaceX. Notice I said SpaceX. So I hope you enjoyed this about XRP. Of course, you'll have to go back and watch the videos, and I hope that if you have watched any portion of this series, you have seen that the information from 2 years ago is just as timely today. And as a matter of fact, although I'm no prophet or a fortune teller, relatively spot on what we can anticipate. But now I've come too close to the current events, and it's time to put it to rest. And the seventh one will encourage continued investment and strength until we reach the end of our roads, whatever our roads may be, because that's individual. But I hope the information shows that you can come back to DK. We'll talk about it. And when I talk about it, I'm going to put information behind what I say that should make the average intelligent human being appreciate that I'm here to look behind the scenes, to find the truth, to stay out of the narratives, and to whisper to your paradigm so that you can come out of the narrative and that we all can be individual thinking persons who are not being brainwashed and psyoped into seeing and thinking only the way they want us to. No, let's think the way our Creator made us think, with our own free will. I'm DK Will, and this is DK Will Talk About It, and I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.